We're just going to get started with, as always, with student concerns and general announcements. Are there any in person today? Seeing none, we're just going to move on to the Google form. We have, I believe, 3 today to go through. Give me 1 second. And then our first one will be read by a Vsauce representative.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks.
The Justice Umd ticket has had its candidates leafletting for the referendum, and they straight up endorsed it against SGA's own ruling on tickets not having a stance on these questions. They should be penalized. Next up, we have the Elegant representative.
The SGA president should not get her honorarium. She illegally vetoed bills with no reason, just for them to be overridden.
Alrighty, last one will be read by me. Just know that SGA changed the meaning of the word intent to change a petition after people had signed it. So much for a clerical edit in democracy. This set a very dangerous precedent, and I'm supportive of the referendum. Alrighty, moving right on into roll call. Alrighty, Agriculture Diego.
Present.
Arki Maya. Arki Muhammad. Vsauce Isha. Vsauce Alexis. CMNS Shri. CMNS Cyrus. CMNS Rishi.
Here.
CMNS Priya. Oakland Ben.
Here.
Denton Nunn.
Here.
Delicate Malcolm.
Here.
Engineering Eden.
Here.
Engineering Graham.
Here.
First year Menor. Spring Admit Shub.
Here.
Heritage Alvaro. Infosci Yasmin. Northhill Kelvin.
Here.
Off-campus neighboring Nick.
Here.
Off-campus neighboring Zahn.
Here.
Off-campus commuter Sid. Off-campus commuter Bell.
Here.
Off-campus commuter Ismail. Public health Grace.
Here.
Public policy Now.
Here.
South Campus Commons Chris.
Here.
South Hill Peyton.
Here.
Undergraduate Studies Maya.
Here.
Undergraduate Studies Kiara.
Here.
Wonderful. With quorum and now call the 22 meeting of 2024-2025 legislative session to order. And today we'll be starting with presiding officer's time with our wonderful guest speaker, President Hines. I sent the presentation into the legislature channel in case the screen does not cooperate. That's where we're at right now.
we should pass it. Did you want a device to look off of, in case the screen doesn't turn on, if they have an individual laptops? Oh, okay, thanks. He probably should just wait, just because I don't want to dive too deep into anything, you know, and prioritize. Yeah, because I think he should be able to get it up and running at least by. Oh, okay, that's good.
Runs with Python. It's up here too if you'd like to.
Oh, no, okay, that works. Okay, very good.
Whatever you prefer.
So, I guess everyone should have it on their screen if you have a laptop or sit next to a colleague. So, first of all, thank you, Student Government Association, for having me tonight. And most importantly, thank you all for your service to your fellow students. It's a huge job to be a member of the Student Graduate Association, Student Government Association, and it takes a lot of time, and you do the service on behalf of your fellow students. So I'm grateful for your ability to do that. I know how hard it can be to do that. So thank you again for your service. So what I thought I would do is quickly go through some charts. Hopefully you have them up on your computers. Do that. And I'll go through some highlights, and then at the end, feel free to ask me questions. It's just not going to be the same though if it doesn't get to the screen, because I have a couple of videos. So my agenda is to talk about indicators of excellence. On my second chart, student success, tuition and fees, campus and Greater College Park updates, and Terrapin Pride. So if you go to the fourth chart, you will see our U.S. News and World Ranking, which is number 17 for publics and 44th overall. And then if you go to the next chart, you'll see the progress over many years that we've gone from 64 overall ranking to 44. So in 5 years, we've moved up 20 spots. And that's for the overall ranking, public and private. And then just for publics, we moved up 7 spots from 24 to 17. And the schools that are above us at the current ranking are University of Wisconsin, Rutgers, and Ohio State University. Anybody from Ohio here? So my goal is to pass Ohio State. Just personal. So that's a nice progress for our undergraduate ranking, and hopefully it means that the value of your degrees are just a little bit higher. If you go to the next chart, you see some additional rankings. We are the best college for veterans, ranked number 24 overall, number 17 public. We're called one of the most innovative schools, number 21 as a public. Best undergraduate teaching, number 22 as a public. This is a key that you all know about our community and our programming. Our living and learning communities are some of the best in the country. Anybody in College Park Scholars? See that? Anybody in our honors programs? All right. Those living and learning programs are ranked 10th in the nation, which we're very, very proud of those programs. It helps take a big institution like ours and makes it more of a community when you're in these honors programs and College Park Scholars. Okay, and then the next chart is a graph, and it shows you that one of the measures of excellence of a university is when a number of your departments or programs are ranked in the top 25. So what you see here are 4 curves, and the y-axis shows you how many programs are ranked in either the top 25, that's a red curve, how many are ranked in the top 20, that's the sort of greenish curve, and then how many are ranked at the yellow curve, and 15, and then 10 is black. And so the good thing that you see is that most of the trend is up, that more programs at the University of Maryland are being ranked by U.S. News and World Report, which we're very, very proud of. Okay. Now, if you go to the next chart, you'll see this is chart number 8. If you're following me, it says other notable rankings. And one thing that about our university is that we've spent 25 years becoming a innovation and entrepreneurship university. And so our undergraduate programming curriculum that's in innovation and entrepreneurship is now ranked number 5 and has been in the top 10 for the last 10 years. And just tell you, 25 years ago, we were never ranked. So 25 years later, now we've been in the top 10 for the last 10 years. And then a new ranking came out called Fast Company. And it says that among publics, we are number 6 as it's an inaugural list of institutions that they call ignition schools, where people come up with ideas, they either go out and form not-for-profits or they go out and form startups. That's kind of what it meant by ignition schools. And then over the years, Forbes ranks 1,800 institutions in the United States for their quality of their students, quality of their programs, the placement of students in high-income paying jobs. And over the years, we've moved up to our highest ranking now, which is number 12, which we're very proud of that. And that's ranked every year. And then in terms of diversity, we feel that our school is extremely diverse, both geographically, both by nationality, race and ethnicity. And one of the hallmarks of our university is that we welcome everyone, and that a couple of measures of that is Campus Pride is rated as 5 out of 5 stars, and this is the second time we've gotten 5 out of 5 stars for our LGBTQ plus community, so we're very proud of that. And then diverse issues in higher education have ranked as number 23 for the degrees awarded to African Americans across our university. And then NSF has ranked as number 1 in the U.S. among publics where students get a degree who are Black or African American and go on to a doctorate or an MD. So we're number 1 compared to other publics across the United States. Okay, so we'll go on to the next chart. We have been also, by Chronicles of Higher Education, recognized as a top Fulbright producing institution. This past year, we had 17 recent graduates and graduate students and alums who were selected in the Fulbright program. And then we've been recognized 11 times in the Chronicles of Higher Education for this recognition of having many of our students be in the Fulbright program. And over the years, if you count up everybody, since the inception of the program, 500 UMD students have received Fulbright awards over time. So puts us in a really high elite category with lots of publics and privates. Okay, now student success. We've had a lot of student success on our campus. There's all kinds of things I can talk about, but I think I just want to highlight a few things. So we have an upgraded and enhanced campus pantry. It's been expanded underneath our connected South Dining Hall, and we're very proud of that. It's also used by graduate students, not just undergraduate students. We have free academic coaching within our Technology and Learning Center, Teaching and Learning Center, called the Learning Success Team. We have new mental health services, including embedded clinicians, expanded on-campus services for substance use, treatment, wellness, and ambassadors, and peer-to-peer mentoring and workshops. And then we have a whole bunch of other things that we do with students' parents. We have a student parent hub, so you see a lady to the right with her baby pushing a cart, and that's through our Student Learning Center as well. So we're very proud of trying to create community for our students, ensuring your success, whatever that may be. Now, the next chart talks about many of you who are students at College Park who win national and international awards. So over the past year, 112 students, undergrads, have won national and international awards. Now I'm just going to highlight a few. So I'm on chart 12. And 3 students have won Goldwater scholarships for STEM excellence. Jerry Shen, who's going to pursue an MD, PhD in molecular medicine. Yash Anand, who's going to pursue a PhD in physics. And Malcolm Moss, who's going to pursue a PhD in advocacy. And I think, Malcolm, you won both Goldwater and something else, right?
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Churchill.
Aha. Give him another round of applause for Churchill. weird to be the person on my chart. It's kind of neat. Did you know you were going to be there, Malcolm?
No, I didn't.
It's really great for me. And then we had one student who almost got a Rhodes Scholarship. Vanity, how many people know Vanity? Anybody? Okay, she's a student here. She's in biological sciences. She also serves as a student representative to the USM, University System of Maryland. She interviewed in the DC section of the Rhodes program and got really, really close. Next time, hopefully we'll get one next year. Okay, I want to highlight some student competitions. So this is chart number 13. Okay, anybody in here from math department? Any math majors? Any people think they're math majors? Any people like math? All right, we got some people like that. All right, so I don't know if you've ever heard of something called the Putnam competition. Anybody heard of the Putnam competition? Okay, all right, a few, excellent. So this is put on every year. It's a competition that brings together 477 universities. That's a lot of universities. We have ranked last couple of years in the top 10. This year it was 7th, which we got an honorable mention. And one of our team members, Daniel Yuan, Isaac Mammal, and Clarence Lamb, Yuan ranked 26 among nearly 4,000 participants, which is pretty impressive. And I'm showing you, if you're looking at this chart, if you can see it, I give you the math equation. So I wonder if one of you guys can solve that in the next 5 minutes. No, I'm just joking. You don't have to. But these problems are really hard, is my point. These are really hard problems. It just shows the level of competition and sort of smarts that students have to have. So anyway, I'm very proud of our math students for doing that and competing every year. Okay, how many people have ever been to the campus farm? All of you should have been to the campus farm. Okay, put your hands out. How many of you have ever been to Ag Day? Okay, how many of you have been to Maryland Day? Aha, Maryland Day and Ag Day are the same. So, what you don't know is that before there was Maryland Day, it actually was called Agricultural Day on campus. And now this next cycle in April is going to be the 100th anniversary of Ag Day and like the 27th or 28th anniversary of Maryland Day. But it actually started with Ag Day, and what happened was the president, about 3 presidents ago at College Park, loved Ag Day so much that he wanted to make it across the campus, and that's how Maryland Day started, that everybody can celebrate. And in our campus farm, we have 2 new animals. Sadie and Ariana are new goat, and our 2 new goats that are used in our goat management course in avian sciences. So you can go over there and see them if you have time to go by the campus farm. But join us on the 4th Saturday of April for both Maryland Day and the 100th anniversary of Ag Day. Okay, how many of you participated in Turfon? Nobody. Okay, that's okay. But this has been going on for about 15 years. Turfon dances are used to raise money for Pediatrics Division of Children's Hospital. And over the year, this past year, we raised $240,000. How about a round of applause for the students? And over the years, I think it's been around $6 million over the years that they've done this. All right, let's talk about tuition and fees. So this is going to be a little bit of an eye chart if you're looking at it. On the left axis is amounts, and on the right axis is percentage. And then it shows fiscal years over like more than 10 fiscal years. And what you see is how residents' tuition increases and fees, mandatory fees, increase. So the red bars are mandatory fees. And what happened was, mandatory fees were increasing until about fiscal 22, in which we decided to take away $500 of mandatory fees that we were charging you and reinsert them into tuition, which is why the mandatory fees went down and the percentage went down. And then the residents, and then the tuition has been increasing for resident tuition just because of the cost of living to live on campus and things like that. So I just wanted to show you this history, but you notice that the percentages tend to stay relatively flat from fiscal year to fiscal year. Okay, We made a huge commitment when I became president, which was to build up our financial funds for students. For the most neediest students on our campus, those in the lowest quintile of family income or the second quintile of family income. And as you can see with this chart, which I'm on chart 18, this Terrapin Commitment Program shows how many students have been impacted by the money that we've given out. So in the first year, it was only 3,421 students, and now it's at 4,335 students. And on average, the students this past year are getting $5,000 compared to what they were getting about $3,000 2 years ago. So we're very excited about that because we've spent a lot of money to kind of reduce student debt so that students can graduate with less debt from College Park, especially those again are in that lowest quintile and lowest, second lowest quintile of family income. In addition, as a result of that financial need program called Terrapin Commitment, we also have increased the number of Pell students at College Park. And so if you take total enrollment, we now, from fall of 2022, we had 5,066 Pell students. Today we have 6,284 Pell students, so it's an increase of 1,218. So it's about now 21% of our total student population. And these are the most neediest of students who can't afford to go to school. And the Pell grants give them full tuition coverage. So we're very happy about that. So what's happening around campus in Greater College Park? So beyond the purple line that you see, we have a lot of projects that are going on. So this just summarizes many of them. So now I'm on chart 21. The next gen, you won't really see the next gen because it's across the street where our power plant is. We're redoing our entire power plant. And to make our campus more sustainable, it'll lead to 23% reduction in emissions and a 50% reduction in the use of water all around campus. And you know how you see those steam vents around campus? That's just wasted energy. And underground, we have all of these ducts, and they have cracks in them. And that's why you see the steam coming out. So in a few more years, you won't see any of that. We'll redo all of that, and it'll be more efficient. The hope that is we will move away from fossil fuels and by 2035, which is what we had committed to in many of our plans. And then there's a few facilities being constructed. So if you're in the STEM side of campus, you'll see Suppanik Hall, which is a new civil engineering building, which will have some additional mechanical engineering labs as well as quantum labs. And then if you go off the campus or Campus Drive and you're heading towards the College Park Metro, you'll see a new high-rise. That is graduate housing. So years ago, anybody remember Guilford Woods? Anybody? Remember that campaign was done by you students? Sorry, I didn't turn around, sorry. So Guilford Woods, okay, we were gonna build an undergraduate, a graduate housing, affordable graduate housing in a piece of property adjacent to our university called Guilford Woods. It was about 10 acres of land. And the community, well, the College Park community, the community of residents, advocated for nothing being built there. And that's what we did. So we pivoted, and we took an old Leonardtown, and we bulldozed old Leonardtown, and we reimagined it with graduate housing. So that's what you see if you go off Campus Drive and go towards the metro station. So that project should be done by sometime early next year, and then it has 700 beds for our graduate student population that are affordable. You'll start to see some of the buses that are now fossil and diesel driven to be converted to all electric over the next couple of years. So it'll be 50 buses, and you'll start to see that infrastructure get in place as we go forward as well. And of course, you all see the purple line every day, and you see the tracks. The trains are not coming for a couple of years, so I'm sorry about that. It's only because the line hasn't been completed from Bethesda to New Carrollton, from Montgomery County to Prince George's County. And then we're doing a lot of stuff like new bike lanes. So you saw them next to Xfinity on Paint Branch Road. but we'll be doing these bike lanes all around campus over the next couple of years. And if you notice that we took a lane, I don't know if you noticed this, but we've taken a lane away in lot 1 to make it more safe because it was really difficult for cars to get by and people to park. And that's just part of the same kind of making micro-mobility around campus a little safer. All right, let's move on to, I already just talked about that. How many of you have been to Shake Shack? All right, Shake Shack in the house. I haven't been there yet, but hopefully I should go there soon. But anyway, if you notice, we've been reimagining College Park, and you've seen a lot of high rises go up, but on the lower level, there's retail. And that retail is just give you guys more diversity of menus, of different things around our campus that wasn't there before, and we will continue to do that. And if you also notice from downtown College Park up to 193 on Baltimore Avenue, we've widened the road, put in a median, put in bike lanes. And the next part of that project is to take it from 193, which is University Avenue, all the way up to the Beltway. That'll take another 2 years, and the state's funding that. So, okay, now how about some Terrapin Pride? So, who's our commencement speaker? All right. So, I'm going to talk about something else. Giving Day. So, Giving Day, we had our highest raised Giving Day in the history of University of Maryland. Previously, we had raised $4.2 million. Now we raised $5.3 million. And we had 11,794 gifts from 8,949 donors. And the Maryland Hillel was the #1 highest raised group, which was $1.1 million, which we're very proud for them. And as you know, we're building a new Maryland Hillel right in downtown College Park. So, and that's starting to go up already. Hopefully we'll complete it in another year and some change. Okay, how many people like basketball? Everybody should like basketball. It's the first time the men and women of our two Division I basketball teams ever made it to the Sweet 16 at the same time, in the same weekend. So you're here at a historic time period. Now, of course, both of them could lose tomorrow and the next day, but that's okay. We still made history. We made history, and I hope you guys really, really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. The women were here, and I don't know if anybody go to that game, by the way? It was great, right? Was it fun? Double overtime. It was great. How about a round of applause? All right, let's go to the next chart. Is that me? Oh, so I'm controlling.
I've got it. We're doing
Oh, okay. All right, can you play that video? That's the best part about being a student. You can't have that. That's the kind of fun you can have. Everybody here and there?
They gathered around
I can hear the breeze
I
from my apartment.
As soon as the sun shot, I just jumped out. My tour guide supervisor was at a wedding or something. And that's for like a wedding with about like 250 experiences.
Oh my gosh.
Right in your room both.
All right, and then that was yesterday's setup for today's message to the campus, and I'll go to the next video. I think, yeah, play that video. So this is amazing. This is the first time we've been able to pull this miracle off. And first of all, Ashley, stand up. She's the one who did it. So, as you all know, this is the home of Jim Henson, who was a student just like you in the 1970s, who created the Muppets. That's why you see at Stamp a statue of him talking to Kermit, right? So you make sure you take a picture there. Because this is, you know, who's graduating right? You guys are graduating, right? You guys are gonna be so happy, right? This is gonna be so memorable for, you know, we're already getting emails about people, can we come to graduation? They're not even graduating. They're like, can we come to graduation? Well, we don't know, we have to make sure that the seniors and their families can come. Because this is gonna be a memorable moment. Never ever before the University of Maryland have had a non-human commencement speaker, right? And something that only we can have. No one else can have Kermit. We are the only entity that can have it. And by the way, just so you know, Jim Henson sold the rights of the Muppets to Disney. So that lady, Ashley Bear, spent the last 3 months negotiating with Disney. This is why it's been delayed. Our announcement's been delayed because it's taken a long time to get all the IP rights and all the video rights and stuff like that, so that we could actually get Kermit to be our commencement speaker. So this would be a really exciting time for all of those seniors who are graduating. So how about another round of applause for Ashley Bear? I think that's my last chart. Yes, it is. So happy to answer any questions that you have. So thank you. And thank you to whoever got the audio and visual. It worked just in time. That was great.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions from here, the audience? Okay.
Good evening, President Pines. Thank you for coming today. Unfortunately, as I'm sure you know, over 50 universities are facing federal investigation over their DEI practices, including
No,
three
there's
schools.
nobody facing that.
Including 3 schools in the DC area. Given that our university takes pride in our diversity programs, what steps is UMD taking to proactively assess and address any potential legal challenges to its programs that support underrepresented minority students and faculty?
Yeah, excellent question. So the way we've looked at the dynamics that we've been seeing in the new administration and coming out of Washington. So there are sort of 3 things that have been happening. Maybe a few more. 4 things have been happening. So number 1, the president issues an executive order, which he's issued now, I think, over 60 executive orders, like the highest in the history, like 1 a day almost. President Trump has been in office for, I believe it's 62 days, 63 or 62 days. So that's one way in which we've been tracking all of these executive orders, especially as they relate to higher education. The second thing that we've seen out of the agencies, we've seen things called Dear Colleague letters, we call them DCLs. And they enforce some guidance on how that agency wants to work with higher education or tell you to do certain things. So as it relates to the topic that you raised, we have, in some cases, if we thought that the executive order or the Dear Colleague letter was against state or federal law, we've joined lawsuits with other universities and other higher education organizations in other states. So I'll give you an example. There was a Department of Education sort of DEI sort of guidance that came out to universities. It turns out we challenged that. State of Maryland was actually the lead state's attorney general. University of Maryland was on that case, on that lawsuit that went to a federal judge in DC, and it got a temporary restraining order, which allowed us to continue our programming. So we are staying on top of all of this to make sure that our values and our missions are executed the way we always want to execute them. So that's kind of what we've been doing. So I'd like to tell you that on a high level, we've been engaging our congressional and federal delegation. In fact, I spent the whole day in Washington today, the whole day, downtown, meeting with our senators and our House representatives, telling them about these issues that are affecting the University of Maryland and higher education in general. So the high level, we're engaging, we're challenging through the court systems, we're adapting to things that we have to do if it's within the law, and we're staying resilient. So that's how we see it. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming today.
And your name?
I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris.
I'm the Commons representative. So on the backdrop of DEI, our university and universities across the country are seeing an uptick in hate bias incidents and targeting of certain different groups on campus. So what steps are we taking as a university make sure we're staying on top of that and maintaining an inclusive culture.
Yeah, so I think if anybody is subjected to any type of hate or bias, have you heard of BIS, B-I-S-S? Please report it. Lots of things that happen, people don't report it, and therefore we can't even act. Because, people just say, I'm just gonna absorb it because I can take it. But no, if you are a subject to any type of hate or discrimination of any type on this campus, please report it so that we can take appropriate action. If it's so severe by either another student or staff member or faculty member, then there are, reprimands and sent to the Office of Student Code of Conduct, things that can be done to help alleviate the hate that's going on, right? So don't just sit and absorb it if you are subject to it, but go to BIS, go to our Diversity and Inclusion Office. There are folks there for Title IX and Title VI. So we want you to just be responsive and tell the administration so that we can make sure that it doesn't happen. And number two, I think we're a really great community. We've had very few incidents. I mean, because of certain things that happen, in the federal government or in the world, there's always going to be, these sort of one or two off incidents that happen on campus. But for the most part, our campus has been really healthy. So when we did you remember we did last spring we did the belonging survey? In the middle of the Middle East crisis, when it was still active, it just picked up just recently, but we did that survey in the middle of the crisis. And what it said was that actually more than 70% of our students, faculty, and staff felt that the climate was good or very good on campus, which is amazing to me. We actually thought it would be below 50%, but it just says a lot to the testament of you guys and how you guys interact with one another, how you respect one another, how you try to work out your differences. That's what a university environment is all about. Thank you, Chris, for the question. Yes.
I'm Rishi, I'm a CMNS rep. So this might be a little bit on a lighter side, but I have heard many complaints from around the campus about lack of student engagement and with student affairs going around campus. So what have you and the rest of the administration done to drive up student engagement recently?
So what do you mean? What's your definition of student engagement?
Like student involvement.
Do you mean like civic engagement? Like in processes like SGA?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So, we think this is a big problem. So I just want to see what was your definition? So like in our country, right, we're in this moment where, let's just say it like it is. We may be heading to what one people might say a constitutional crisis, right? So what happens is, I got asked questions about DEI, which came from the executive orders and dear colleague letters. And so then when something is against the law, we go to the legal system to get adjudicated. Now what happens is if it comes out in our favor, then what we hope is people follow the law after that. If they don't follow the law, then we have a constitutional crisis, meaning that the administration might not follow what a court judge tells the administration to do. But the most important part about what I just said is that it's important to understand the systems by which we work in the United States. So we have an Office of the President, which is the chief executive. We have Congress, and we have a court system. Ultimately, it gets to the Supreme Court. When things don't work out at the appellate courts or the federal courts, it gets adjudicated at the highest level of our court system. So one of the challenges, I think, for students is that what we're noticing in high school is that students are not getting the proper civic education. First in high school, and now we're in college. And then students, when they're in high school, or even lower grades, should be getting engaged in their communities to understand the processes of how to affect change. And then as you get here, this is one way in which you affect change for your fellow students. This is why you all are here. All of you want to give back to your community, which is this community, University of Maryland College Park, and you're doing it by serving as SGA representatives to the SGA. And first of all, I commend you for doing that. It is part of civic engagement. But we need to spread this kind of engagement across all the undergraduate population and some of the graduate population. So what we are doing in the administration is we have a couple of new initiatives, which is something called the Maryland Democracy Initiative, MDI. Hopefully will lead to the Maryland Democracy Institute. And that will come out in the form of a curriculum that will be, first probably will be in a few colleges like BSOS, education, journalism, and maybe the iSchool, the info school. And then it'll spread across the entire campus and it'll show up in Gen Ed. And the hope is that we allow everyone the opportunity to be engaged in civic learning and then in community engagement and civic engagement, just like you asked. But it is a process.
Thank you.
That's what we're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Please,
Yeah,
your name?
Abel, I'm the commuter representative. I represent all commuters to this campus. My question is related to engagement, civic engagement. You've commended us for serving on this, but I want to highlight for you one way the administration, your administration, has undermined this SGA in particular. Oftentimes, we will pass resolutions stating various opinions that we believe that the student body holds as elected representatives, but in statements in response, your communications and your media folks have been saying that SGA decisions will have no impact on your decisions or the decisions of the administration.
Well, I think what we say is SGA decisions do not necessarily affect the decisions of the administration. Sometimes they do. So I'll give you an example. I know I'm interrupting you.
I could read the statement to you directly.
Feel free, go ahead.
Diamondback reads it, it quotes it pretty often, and it's copy-pasted almost every time. And the message that is sent by that is that we do not actually represent the student body and that our opinions have no bearing on your decisions, which I think
that's not entirely true, but
I think it's something that should be addressed then and should be corrected, because I would hope that we are not here pointlessly sending resolutions to you that they have an impact. So I just wanted you to respond to that and how you would fix that.
There are some things that, your body is not the faculty senate, right? And so we have this, so part of the challenge we have, Del, is that we have an unusual structure. We have a senate that actually involves students, staff, and faculty. By the way, that's unusual. So, so that body is the body that is the shared governance arm of the university, which includes students, by the way. So when things get passed there, because that's the shared governance part of this university, we have to absorb it and look at it and consider it, right? You have a student body government association here, and we do look at everything that you do, but it only becomes, because it's not part of that other body, our shared governance body, it becomes advisory to us. So sometimes we take your actions and we work on them, and sometimes you don't. So for example, years ago, before you guys were all here, there were some sustainability initiatives, like they were passed 10, 15 years ago in this body by students. Students were always ahead of the administration. I'm serious, the students were way ahead of the administration. And it became, for a few SGA presidents, a really big issue, which is why we're so far ahead now, thanks to you guys, on sustainable vehicle systems, our new power plant. In this body, the first goal was to be carbon-free by 2050, and then we upped it to 2025, and now we're trying to achieve that by fossil fuel by 2035. But it actually started here, and it was the same kind of resolutions that you're talking about that didn't come in the faculty's shared governance arm, but it came here. We listened to students and we executed. So it's advisory, your organization, to the administration.
I hope that means you will correct that statement to say that. That would be much more acceptable.
Fair enough.
To say, we know that we don't change the rules,
Right.
but do we at least have an influence? That would be the correction you could make to that.
I will talk to our
Boilerplate.
communications team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, for asking that great question.
Hi, my name is Priya. Thank you so much once again for coming to speak with us. So with NIH funding cuts and NSF grant freezes, I wanted to ask how the university plans to keep supporting research faculty and students who aim to pursue undergraduate research on campus.
Yeah, so that's it's an excellent question. So, it's a little chaotic with the research grants contract. So one of the first executive orders that came out almost literally within the first week was that President Trump asked for NIH to reduce its F&A rate, which is college facility and administrative rate, to 15%. By the way, just, I don't want to go into any technical details, but every university negotiates a separate rate, and our rate sometimes is somewhere like over three times that number, right? So what does that mean? It means that when you go down to 15%, there's less money available to fund people. So we joined a lawsuit in the state of Massachusetts, led by the state of Harvard and MIT and schools up in Boston, and we were able to get a temporary restraining order so that we could still execute our same F&A rate that we negotiated with the government. So as it currently stands, those individuals, at least at University of Maryland College Park, who are on those NIH grants are okay. All of our NIH grants, we don't have a lot of NIH grants like University of Maryland, Baltimore, and at Johns Hopkins, but we do have about $68 million per year in NIH funding. But it looks like we're okay for this fiscal year, fiscal 26. Going into fiscal 27, we'll have to see if the administration does something else. But right now, that's okay. Now, I'm talking about other agencies. Each agency is different, so what's going on in the government, different agencies have been asked to cut their budgets by different percentages. So we have to look at each one on an individual case. And what we're doing with the faculty is we're asking them to make sure you can cover your graduate students and postdocs through this calendar year, and let us know if you have an emergency problem through the provost's office to see if we might be able to find a little bit of bridge funding. So that's kind of how we're handling it. Yes.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to thank you first of all for volunteering your time to come to us and for building a positive relationship with this organization over the course of several years. It's really wonderful. You've mentioned some really great goals for the administration moving forward, and I was curious, are there any ways that you'd like to see SGA support that work? Are there any projects or work we could be doing on campus to help us reach those goals of like moving up in rankings?
Oh, I show you the rankings, but I never talk about them. I don't know, I shouldn't even put them on the charts. Look, I think the way we work better together is how do we build a better community? So part of that belonging survey we did was we really didn't know the pulse of the campus, right? What's the true pulse of the campus? Like, what do you guys collectively think about the climate and issues that could be better, right? So that actually gave us a roadmap. So so we've got recommendations that came out of that survey that you could help us implement. And many different units are going to be working on those recommendations. So we've got student affairs, we've got our diversity and inclusion office, our facilities folks, our administrative and operations, and our IT folks. So that's where you can help, is how do we make our community still better? We're never perfect. Administration is never perfect. But we want a better community. We don't want a lot of bias incidents on campus. We don't want a lot of hate incidents on campus, right? So how we just continue to improve. We'll never be perfect, but we should be always striving to improve perfection. That's number one. And then, we have cabinet to cabinet, which is, to me, some of the best days that we have is when we were with you, and you tell us about a lot of ideas that you guys want us to help you work on. And I think we try to do our best to work together on those. And again, those interactions are not perfect either. So, first on the climate, and then on the issues that you guys care about with the rest of the cabinet. I think are ways in which we collaborate.
Hi,
your name?
my name is Shiv. I'm the spring admin rep. So as of recently, the select committee on the CCP, asked the University of Maryland
Can you tell people what that is?
the select.
No, it's like, yeah, so everybody knows what you're talking about.
The select committee, the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party.
Beautiful.
Right, requested that UMD provide information regarding Chinese nationals at our university. So in light of that, ask what actions are you taking regarding that, and how does that mesh with what you've said about standing up to this administration and the legal requests that they're making versus the requests that you're able to litigate and everything else?
Yes, this is so essentially a great question, because I talked about executive orders, dear colleague letters, and now this was a House Senate letter to me specifically. By the way, Shev's comment, there's 6 universities involved, Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, USC, University of Illinois, Maryland, and Purdue. And so it just seems random, because I don't know what precipitated us being on that list. But what we've done is we are working with our legal counsel and the state's attorney general to see what is legally required by this letter that we need to provide this House Senate Select Committee. And then that is why I was in DC today. I was meeting with one of the staffers of this committee and saying, what is this all about? Why are you asking my university to provide, which I consider to be private information, which I'm not going to provide. I'll provide aggregate information, like broad statistics about the diversity of our programs and the people that are at our university. What is the goal of this? And they really didn't have any clear answers. But I also had a chance to meet with our senators today to tell them about this inquiry and for them to kind of work some back channels and provide us some additional guidance on what we should do. So we're looking at it from a legal perspective, we're looking at it from a congressional perspective, and hopefully we're going to protect the privacy of all of our people at College Park.
Unfortunately, we have hit.
No, I have more questions.
You do?
I do. Because I think you had a question and he has a question. Is that okay?
I was told by the gallery that you had to leave, but if you want to take more,
I want to take the last 2 questions. Well, why don't you go? You have the mic?
Oh, I don't need a mic.
Okay, you.
Thanks everybody in this room for listening.
And your name?
I'm Sid. I'm another one of the commuter reps here. So, I guess my question really centers around current events, and especially with regards to civic engagement and the intersection between that and the international students' behavior on campus. Recently, there have been detentions made in the international student community among activists, especially those advocating for involved in pro-Palestine protests, things like that. Most notably, Mahmoud Khalil, who's currently in detention in Louisiana. Given that, 1, our proximity to DC, and 2, our amount of civic engagement that we have on campus, make us pretty well suited to advocating for social change. What can and what will the university administration be doing to protect our students involved in student activism?
So we've had activism throughout this Middle East crisis, as you probably already know, Sid, and we have not stopped I don't think we've stopped a single activity of any group on either side of this conflict, as long as all the students and other partners have stayed within our policies, right? So from our perspective, we don't have a problem with anyone protesting and exercising, let me get there. Exercising their First Amendment or free speech or academic freedom rights. We're not worried about, we think there's no way that a person who exercises their First Amendment free speech rights can be targeted. Even if you're a foreign graduate student, the law still says you have the right to First Amendment free speech. I think some of the other institutions are being targeted because they don't like them. I don't know why. And so even the individual in Colombia, he's probably going to win that case. Easily, actually. So our job is to educate, make sure that you're protected, and allow you to protest. We are not, so if you're asking a question about, say, ICE, we have communicated to the folks who are in immigration that there's a protocol coming onto our campus. You have to contact our legal office and our UMPD office. You can't just come onto our campus.
I guess my question was more centering on one of the things that struck me specifically about the case in Columbia University was the administration sort of, at least what appeared to be sort of complying without necessarily protecting their students. As someone who's involved in academics myself, I'm just trying to ascertain how much.
Well, there's some legal things, and so first of all, ICE can only come on to our campus in public spaces. So, for example, ICE cannot go into a residence hall without our permission. So we're not going to let that happen, right? So I don't know if that where they went into his apartment complex. I think it was off campus, and I think that was unfortunate. But if you're on campus, we control how that happens. So that's why the students are protected on campus. So. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for coming today. My name is Alvaro. I'm not sure if you answered this question. I unfortunately had to miss your presentation. I was coming from work, and the Beltway is
look good.
The Beltway is never pleasant at this time. So my question was around, so as you may know, the state cuts coming into the budget, and then potentially the federal. So my question was around, as you know, there's a big population of students benefiting from programs such as the Terrapin Commitment, a lot of low-income students who, benefit from such assistance. And so what safeguards does the university have in terms of protecting such programs and other scholarship programs on campus benefiting these students who wouldn't be here otherwise?
Yeah, great question. Don't worry. Terrapin Commitment will not be affected by any budget cut that we have. We'll still fund that program. There's the numbers that, you missed my presentation, but the numbers that were in my presentation, and we will still have a commitment to the most neediest students on our campus. What we worry about, to be quite honest with you, and this is what you all should worry about, because we don't really have control over this. As you know, the administration is trying to remove the Department of Education. And lots of people have lost their jobs. And FAFSA, from last year, was a debacle. And now they moved FAFSA over to the Small Business Administration, which should be another debacle. And so what we worry about is the federal aid, is it going to get distributed in time for students? That is our biggest worry. The state stuff that we're doing, no problem. Terrapin Commitment is all state money, no problem. We're going to maintain that. But the federal money, we don't have the control over. So that's where your voices matter. And that's another thing I was speaking to our House representatives and our senators, that make sure they watch if the money is not going out for Pell, financial aid, and for loans out of the federal government, Department of Education. One more? Sure. You and Belle will be over there conniving, I watch them watching. What's your name?
So my name is Diego, and I'm the agriculture representative, okay. So I was quite excited to hear you talk about Ag Day. Yes. So my question was actually related to how you were talking about state funds and how currently the current financial situation within Maryland is actually looking quite dire.
It is.
And that it seems that the University of Maryland, I think specifically, we're facing about $110 million.
No.
Or the
USM. The USM.
Okay.
So we're facing $47 million, because we're typically 40% of the USM, roughly.
Yeah, so thank you. So my question is that how exactly is the University of Maryland going to navigate the oncoming budget cuts?
Well, I was going to take it all out of your budget, Diego. Sorry, I know you're a big spender, so I figured I'd just take it from you. No, I'm just kidding. But on a more serious note, so what we're going to do is we are doing a lot of analysis of cutting certain kinds of things where we take some soft money to pay for, so we have two types of money. The money that I said was $47 million is like pays for salaries. So we call it base money. But we have a lot of soft money that if we, for example, if we don't do a renovation project, or if we don't do travel, as much travel, then we can use that money to help supplant the missing money and pay for people's salaries. We can also, we're thinking about increasing a little bit of out-of-state enrollment. So we're looking at a lot of measures to see how we can combat the $47 million shortfall. And the hope is that we can find various strategies to get there.
Okay.
So $47 million for us is like a 5% cut.
Okay, yeah, okay.
That's what we're doing.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, I'll get out of your meeting. Thank you so much. Oh, I have some turtle pins and
They're very excited.
People cannot see your breath all day.
I know what's on the
It's just like a force. Everyone's
Would you have to promise to keep the mic a little bit away from your mouth?
Oh, they're like in this is like, yeah. Real gold.
Yeah. Alrighty. That was so much fun, everybody. Thank you for asking really good questions, staying engaged the entire time. Let's walk back in, and we're gonna move on to our finance report with our VPFA.
I was actually supposed to go first. Yep, those are the new numbers. And 20% of the ledge reserves are what's left for food. Nothing else on there is for food. But,
And then, do you want to introduce your allocation?
Yep.
Bill?
So last time, because of the timeline with spring break and all, we our usual allocation bills have how much we allocate to student groups initially, and then also in appeals. This time around, because we didn't get to do appeals before we left for spring break, we just had our initial allocations. Everything has to be backed by a bill in order for SORT to make payments. So this is now us following up with the appeals portion of the bill. So the bill will just say how many groups appealed our funding decisions, and then how much we allocated in total through those appeals, which was like $1,000 and some change. So.
Does anyone have any questions? Is the body ready for the main question?
Yes.
Awesome. Now move to period voting. Can I just see all those in favor? Alrighty. All opposed? All abstaining? Awesome. Vote 25-0 to 1 still passes. Congratulations, Brenna. We'll now move into cabinet updates, starting with academic affairs.
Hi guys. So nothing too crazy. The OER bill is on the second reading calendar, and the plan is to promote the OER survey, initiate Instagram and outreach. If you have any questions on that, I know that's coming up pretty soon. If you have any questions on that, feel free to slide. And yeah, we plan to present the key findings about textbook portability and access and CAP. And we have future meetings with the Senate Educational Affairs Committee and the undergraduate student, Dean Student Advisory Board. That's all I have.
Awesome, thank you. Communications is in the bathroom, so we will, is research and tech here? Is diversity, equity, and inclusion here? Awesome.
Alright, so at the last meeting, we talked about a bill that was voted on, the annual accessibility audit. And then we also are continuing to reach out to the student works about, just their DEI commitment and like the student groups. So that form is still in the doc, so you guys can still reach out to the student groups about reaching out to us and like about better outreach we can do as DEI. And then the current project we're working on is creating a prevention interaction survey, and then working around like student groups like the Equity Center and the Counseling Center and the Student Affairs. And that's it for right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's not many new updates in regards to increasing counseling center awareness. We will be able to learn more during our meeting with Dr. Joshi next Thursday at 9 a.m. Tentatively speaking, Chief Mitchell is also going to be here, so that would be a great time to get some more info on suicide reporting. In terms of Center for Healthy Families initiatives, we are likely going to scrap the logo design contest. Instead, we reached out to UMD Product Space. They are a club on campus that kind of works with private companies, kind of gathering data and insight, and this is going to help St. Chef expand their outreach to different clients. And last but not least, we're going to have dining hall tabling scheduled for mid-April.
Thank you.
Okay, so throughout this week and next week, we're going to be giving presentations about just how to vote in the SGA. And we have a couple slots actually tomorrow that we don't have presenters for yet. So if you're interested, please reach out. It's really short. You just show up at the beginning and then you give like max 5-minute presentation and it can count as your office hours. So if you want to get that over with, like, just let me know. And then we're gonna also, again, planning for future elections, and then Gov is working on more advocacy and outreach in MJ and otherwise.
We'll circle back to comms.
Sorry, I was chatting outside. So a few things. One, again, I've heard a lot of people are upset about umdsga.com. I've gotten no form responses. So if you have issues, which I know that there are out there, please either come to comms at Tuesday at 6 p.m. Or just fill that out. It's super easy. So I know that there are issues with the site. I'm not someone who goes on the site like often enough to know all the ins and outs and all of the issues and the buttons and whatever. So it's important to me that that's right and it's updated. So if you have any issues, let's channel the criticism into constructive and throw it in that form. I would appreciate that. Also, with Ralph, I just keep saying this, but if you have it, please do all the stuff, send it to Manila by 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is SMP.
We're still doing the planning for care And the drink test cards, I also had a meeting today with HPWS about transitioning, and I'll kind of mention this in the potential updates too, of transitioning a little bit into party pack harm reduction kits, so I'm gonna bring that up this week. I'm gonna be in LA this week, so also the chairing committee for me, but I will have notes for her on what we're going to talk about, and so kind of working with HPWS and some folks on that. If you can come out to table, I'm gonna start putting out stuff for tabling at the clothesline project, and also tabling to help out with the kind of flag demonstration event that we're doing to represent the amount of people who report sexual assault incidents to those who don't report sexual assault incidents, and getting kind of student reflection and feedback on that so that we can also continue that work and work within the Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So thank you.
On to student groups.
Okay, so in committee, we further did some like last minute student group leadership summit planning, which is Monday next week in the Market Brett Room from 4 to 6 p.m. C and SLA will also be attending, so we worked on some parts of the agenda during committee, and then we also started to reach out to student group leaders because we thought it might be good for leaders, new leaders to hear from more experienced leaders, like on like a panel-like discussion. And then we also discussed dates for the tabling for the room booking survey when it's complete.
Thank you. Next up is student affairs. Oh.
So we did not meet this week because of our complaint tabling, which we do want to say thank you to everyone who did support us in that. We got a lot of complaints, a lot of, actually let me not say complaints, constructive criticism. And so we just want to say thank you for everyone for supporting us on doing this again. We could do this once more in the span of the semester. No new update beyond what's there from last week, so yeah.
Thank you. Next up is sustainability.
Hey guys, sorry. Alright, so yeah, EarthFest as normal, still tying some loose ends, and then we also decided to do the Student Sustainability Summit. We had our virtual one last month and we had over 300 registrations, but that was virtual. So we're gonna try and do an in-person one. We decided May 2nd, 1 through 5, and as of right now, we're working on recruiting speakers. And pretty much, yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Transportation and infrastructure.
Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. Got some updates. DOTS Biweekly is happening tomorrow, so please send me your questions. We will be covering things like the EV buses and micromobility. The survey, we're working on increasing some circulation now that we're back, possibly like listservs and social media. Micromobility working group policies, before break in committee we did discuss the top finals of what the group has come up with. So if you're interested in what the policy could look like and you want to give me your feedback so I can take it back to the group, please look at our last week's agenda or just come find me and we can talk about it then. CTAC is happening this Friday, and I'm assuming we'll get some updates on transportation there as well. I haven't seen the agenda though. On the infrastructure side, the accessibility audit is happening on Tuesday, 4 to 6. We're going to be sending out more information by the end of the week for the final details. And then we're working on a couple more projects with dirty water filters, runoff from trash bins. The mural project did close its submissions, and we received quite a few. So we're looking forward to voting on those and doing a big reveal on Maryland Day, so hopefully you all will be around to see it. Facility Student Advisory Subcommittee is also meeting this week, and we're still doing rolling submissions, so let me know if you're interested in that as well. And then in general, I will be having dinner with delegates from U Tennessee tomorrow during committee, so you have the pleasure of Joe chairing again, but I will hopefully be able to stop by at some point and answer some questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our first reading calendar, S25 through 26A, and after the VSJ Sexual Assault Awareness Month flag. demonstration. Would the bill sponsor like to give an introduction to the bill?
Okay, so Reese, I'm not gonna talk too close to it this time.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, but we're hosting the Sexual Assault Awareness Month flag demonstration on Thursday, April 17th. This will be on a patch of McKeldin Mall near the Sundial in a heavily trafficked area. And what we're gonna be trying to highlight here is the fact that well over 70% of sexual assaults that happen in the United States go unreported, and that will be shown by the difference between red and white flags there. So we will also answer any questions that members of the student body might have.
Thank you. This will be going primary financial affairs, and then you can read the rest of the committees. Sorry. We're going to go S250326 be enacted as the 4th annual Earth Fest. Would the bill sponsor like to give an introduction?
Yes, I would. So we got Earth Fest on Thursday, April 17th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on McKeldin Mall. This is just to fund the remainder of the money that's not covered by the, oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. The mini grant from Sustainability Committee, and also to do communications requests. So everyone please come to Earth Fest.
Wonderful. This will be also going primary financial affairs. And then lastly, S250326C enacted to promote the Student Sustainability Summit event on the SJ Instagram. Will sponsor like to give an introduction?
Oh my god, S3. We got the Student Sustainability Summit on May 2nd. I don't think it says the date in here, but Student Sustainability Summit on May 2nd. This one's just a communications request. I think Alicia already talked about this, but yeah, please everyone also come to this.
Awesome. This will be going primary communications. And then moving on to our second reading calendar with S250312A enacted co-sponsor the Carrot Clothesline Project. Is the primary committee of SFB here to give the report?
Yes, ma'am. It's 4 to 0 to 1. No discussions or amendments.
Awesome. I would look favorably upon a motion regarding the committee report.
Motion to approve the committee report.
There's been a motion to approve the committee report. Can I just see all those in favor? All those opposed? Wonderful. No objections. There is no amendments on the bill either. So is the body ready for the main question?
Yes.
Awesome. We'll now move into a period of voting. Can I see all of those in favor?
Good old.
Alrighty, can I see all of those opposed? Okay. Awesome, we go 25-0 to 1. This bill passes. Congratulations to the bill sponsor. Moving right along to S250312B, an act to establish and publish a survey on the availability of course materials. Is the primary committee please leave the report?
To pass 202. No amendments made.
Thank you, Lewis. I look favorably once again upon a motion regarding the committee report.
To approve the committee report.
Thanks, there's been a motion to approve the committee report. Can I just see all those in favor? All those opposed? Awesome, abstaining, amazing. And I do see there are some amendments, most likely made in the secondary committee, if anyone wanted to sponsor those at this time. Oh, awesome, okay. Amazing. No more amendments. Is the body ready for the main question? Awesome. And I'm moving to approve voting. Can I see all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Amazing with a vote of 25-0 to 1, this bill passes. Congratulations to the bill sponsor. Last bill on our second reading calendar is an act to host the annual accessibility audit. Is the primary committee of financial affairs here with the committee vote or report, APFA?
Yeah, we don't vote on this one.
I can answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the money's coming out of cap reserves, so cabinet
Okay.
took a vote on that.
Okay, sounds good. Then, TNI.
Yeah,
Prime.
601 favorable.
Okay, amazing. Were these amendments made in your committee?
No, I would say it's safer to say no.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe marked not meeting committee, so we will need a legislator to sponsor those.
Okay.
If you are in TNI, I ask you please do
I
that.
can go and sponsor that.
Let's go ahead and approve the committee report first. So I look favorably upon motion.
Motion to approve the committee report.
Awesome. Can I see all those in favor? Opposed? Abstaining? Awesome. And then, yeah, if anyone wanted to amend anything at this time.
I said I could sponsor Joe's amendments.
Okay. So I'm just gonna motion to sponsor all of Joe's amendments. Is anyone opposed? Awesome. I will approve those.
I'll motion to sponsor all of Wendy's amendments.
Oh, yeah. Wait, where's mine? Those, oh, okay. Yeah,
So to speak. I can explain what the amendment says.
oh, yeah, that would be great.
The bill that it's referencing is not an act, it's a resolution, so it's
Oh,
it's a
clear.
language change.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Motion to sponsor versus.
Anyone opposed? All right, there's no more amendments on this bill. Is the body ready for the main question? Awesome, when I'm into period of voting, can I see all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Amazing with a vote of 25-0 to 1, this bill passes. Congratulations to the bill sponsor. Alrighty, moving right along. There's no tabled bill. Does anyone have any follow-up to any initiatives? Go ahead.
Hey guys, so my OER survey bill just passed. The survey I know is live. I believe the comms post has already been made on Instagram.
Yes.
Okay.
It was posted earlier today.
So I encourage all of you to fill it out. It's a fantastic survey.
Awesome, go ahead.
So the meditation and lunch are happening every week on Mondays from now on. So I invite you all to come. Free lunch. Next time is going to be Panera. The event we had this Monday was great. There was a lot of participation. Also, the chapel is also doing Wednesdays. So if anybody's ever hungry, tell them every Monday and every Wednesday they can have lunch at the chapel for free, either Chick-fil-A or something. So just wanted to continue to encourage you all to spread that word. And address food insecurity. Thank you.
So the turbo vote thing is still kind of, I haven't really received anything from SORC in regards to the memorandum of understanding about the whole, funding contract, so that's still kind of up in the air, and the deadline's coming pretty quickly, so hoping I hear back.
She has.
Huh?
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Sorry, this happened recently. I got an email from TurfScout. So TurfScout is speaking with TurboBot, and they're going to do a 2-year contract for a total of, double check. So TurboBot is running out the contract right now. We should have that soon. The exact dollar amount is like $4,000 for 2 years, so it's a bit more expensive.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you just elaborate that?
Thank you, everyone. Is there any more follow-up for any initiatives? Alrighty, moving on to executive updates, starting with student body president.
Sally's not here, so I can also read Sally's too. So we'll start with the chief of staff update.
Hi, everybody. I won't take too much of your time. It's my pleasure to announce winner of this year's Bud Thomas Award. It's given to the graduating senior who has been recognized for the invaluable contribution that they've made to the Student Government Association throughout their time at the University of Maryland. As a result of their effort, has left a positive, permanent legacy within the SGA and the campus community as a whole. I'm happy to recognize this year's winner, Student Body President Reese Artero.
I really appreciate that. I've been in SGA for like 4 years now, so I can tell you it does not get better. No, it does. I hope it does. But it's been a pleasure working with you all this year. Getting into my updates, we've been doing UHC tabling outreach, so we had to cancel on Monday and Tuesday because of the rain, and we also didn't have the materials yet. UHC was kind enough to print some for us in the interim, so if you are interested in tabling, I put some stuff in the officers chat. We might not do as many classroom visits actually, just because we have a lot of students who are in classes at those times, ironically, right? So we will probably focus more on tabling and social media outreach. If you guys could kindly repost anything, again, all of our graphics are informative, so if there are things that you guys would like to post to help inform your constituencies, that would be greatly appreciated, whether it be on your representative email or your representative social media or on your personal email. Party pack, harm reduction kits, so kind of what I was talking about earlier. So Nick had kind of started a little bit on the drink test cards and the cup covers and stuff like that. And at some of the other schools, we've seen party packs, and so harm reduction efforts are essentially any time that you give people tools, because basically they're going to do it anyway, might as well help them be safe. So like, for example, like fentanyl test strips, right? When people are testing substances that they're using, if they're going to use them, might as well give them the tools to test for fentanyl so that they don't OD, right? So that would be part of that. We would be looking towards getting fentanyl test strips, naloxone. There's cups that have indicators of the levels of a serving for each alcoholic beverage, so like wine, beer, things like that, so students can be aware of how much they're taking when they take stuff, and all that good stuff. So I had a meeting with HPW about that today. Headshot photo booth. The University Career Center has actually received a headshot photo booth, so they're going to be in the testing stages, and we'll probably get the reimbursement just about any time now in terms of once they test it and everything comes back okay. So just wanted to put that out there. Pregnancy tests, had a meeting with HWS to talk a little bit about that, and they did a free EC handout, and they also started putting the pregnancy test in it as well, so I thought that was really cool. Gender affirming care for the LGBT Equity Center, so last year we funded gender affirming care products that would go to the Equity Center. We've talked about somewhat shifting those to be in at least housed under the UHC so that our transgender students can have protections from HIPAA. As it stands right now, currently in the Equity Center, they may not be able to keep certain information from the government, depending on certain things. So we're trying to proactively address that by working with the HPWS and UHC and the Equity Center. As Paisley talked about, the accessibility audit, looking at where we might be able to continue accessibility efforts in the future and all that. Meetings, I actually had a meeting with clients yesterday to talk about a number of things that you guys mentioned today. Upcoming meetings, I have a president's meeting this weekend. The Office of Diversity and Inclusion is also having a focus group with students that I'll be going to. Patty and CSAC, which is the Campus Safety Advisory Committee, or Council. Other announcements and things like that. I appreciate your engagement this week. Seriously, with those questions to Pines, I was very impressed with how thoughtful they were. I hope that you guys can continue that next week. We will be having Patty Perillo come. She's the Vice President of Student Affairs. I encourage you to look into what Student Affairs is if you don't know what it is. It's basically all of the departments that interact with us. So if you have questions for her next week, I highly recommend, first of all, coming in business casual or professional, please, Lord. And otherly, being on time, please. Other stuff, I will be working on bylaw changes and amendments for Omnibus. I am not able to attend CBL due to my schedule, but I will try to post them preemptively so that you guys can review them and like give me comments on them too. So I will send that out. And for elections, just a short reminder that even once results are announced post-elections, you guys retain your representatives until April 23rd. Please, 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 we already see low engagement in our committees, and I don't want you all to think that whether you won your seat or not, that you no longer have a responsibility to represent your constituencies. You were all elected or appointed for a reason. Please don't disrespect your constituencies by taking that lightly when you go to committees or when you interact in this space at UVM. That would be my last thing. I'm sorry. That would be my last thing, but I can also read Sally's updates too if you would like me to. She had a meeting with Rec Ball today and Rectory, so I haven't seen yet if she updated that. Oh yeah, please vote on the merch form. So there's 2 different designs, 2 different colors. That will dictate like the price. So everyone who's intending on buying one, please vote so that they can give you a better price point there. They work a little, Rectory stuff is there. Yeah, if you want to blow it up so everyone can see too. If you guys just want to take a quick second to vote on them. They're very cute. Pragya and Siley and the comms committee have been working on them for a while.
Nope, it was just those 2. They killed.
That's so true. Yeah, just Siley and Pragya, forget Lewis.
Yeah.
But yeah. You have PSAC working on that for April 11th, so I'll probably attend that. Liaison. Title IX is next week, training for undergrads, so Sally wanted to work on requiring that for undergraduate TAs. It's only required for graduate TAs as of right now. HPWS, with everything in mind in terms of how our budget is, one thing that I will ask you guys to look at too is we've been asking departments what we can use our excess funds for. Almost every year SGA has funds left over, and it ends up meaning that every year our budget decreases because we don't exhaust it. And so we've been asking departments what we can fund stuff towards, so we were looking at potentially giving funding to, they're called barrier carriers, and they're essentially like safe sex supply clear units that you can put in residence halls. The issue is kind of figuring out like who's going to fill them. As it stands right now, Jenna is the only one in the sexual health area, so she can't do it by herself. So looking at doing that. Working with the Unit 100 curricula and meeting with Chief Mitchell and all that good stuff. So for those of you who have any questions for Sally, she's extremely responsive on all platforms. So thank you guys.
Now we have comments for the good of the council. Does anybody have any? I don't think I have any. I have one.
I always have one. Let me pull up this one. Went along on break with Miss Priya. So can you give us an overview?
Oh wait, I have.
I was coming up. You want me to? Yeah.
Okay.
I want to apologize in advance for the pacing of this video. Video editing is a lot harder than it looks.
That's so true.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so we started the week off strong with a lab meeting with Dr. Mount and the two wonderful grad students, Brenda and Monroe. This is me and my friend Holly. After our CS quiz, we look a little too happy here. This is us in Orgo and a group activity in Bio. Before we knew it was time to go to Jersey, here's us in the 104, College Park Metro Station, the Metro, waiting for Metro to get to Silver Spring. Here's us in Silver Spring, and us waiting for the Peter Pan bus to Philadelphia. I saw my favorite comedian on the bus and I thought that was pretty cool. Here's me and Ralph in the bus, lots of legroom. Here's Ralph admiring the Philly lights at night. Home sweet home. Here's Ralph getting lunch with a friend I tagged along to. Here's Ralph my orthodontist. Here's well, Philly trip. So this is me and my friend getting boba. She looks really scared of us, I don't know why. Here's us in Chinatown. Here's us in front of the love sign at Penn's campus and the CHOP campus. Here's Ralph on Locust Walk. And Ralph meeting a fellow mascot. I don't know if Ben Franklin is their mascot. Here's Ralph in front of a Red Bull car. I thought that was pretty cool. Here's us crossing the Delaware River. And of course we were locked in. Ralph and I had a lot of stuff to get done. Here's us on a walk. So by this point, you're probably thinking the background music in this video is fantastic. Little did you know, you're listening to the set list of the Last Dinosaurs Philly concert. I actually got to hear my favorite guitar solo live, which was incredibly surreal, and I'll let it play. I still can't believe I was in the band. Wait, can you count the volume? Okay. And Last Dinosaurs, they actually hold like a meet and greet 2 hours before their concert, and I planned a little surprise for you guys, so I'll let you play.
Hi, Umd Sga. We're Last Dinosaurs. Keep all our word. Make sure you listen to us.
Yeah, I shook their hands and they signed my headphones. I will never shut up about this. So here's us picking up my sister from her volleyball tournament and Ralph wearing her gold medal. I decided to put my EMT skills to use after Ralph's devastating fall 2 weeks ago. And the verdict is that she's all okay and the bandage is off. Look at how happy she is. So this is us on the way to Philly to catch my bus back to here. And Ralph continues to make new friends at the social butterfly she is. And here's us at the CMNS Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Council. If you're looking for a sign to start listening to Last Dinosaurs, this is it. They're great. They said it themselves. Okay.
I need the Ralph back. I need the baby.
Oh,
Not that
yeah.
one.
Can I throw it?
Yeah. You know what? One, two. No.
Ready?
Diego. Yeah, okay, no.